Welcome to another unboxing, guys. This one is Hell Legends by Hardelspiel, I think, or Hodari Spiel. Hodari Spiel is how I'm going to say it. They left me this nice letter. Went ahead and read through it just so I know kind of what I'm going into. Though, I always try to go into things blind. Now, I am unboxing this, and I want to let you guys know, of course, that this is a prototype and that it is on GameFound right now. Link down in the description below. Go ahead and check it out. See where the campaign is, how it's ended up doing, and if you're interested in finding out more, or even interested in backing the game, supporting an indie publisher like this, then of course you can do so as well. Not will, well. All right. Tape. My least favorite thing, but I'm okay with it on bubble wrap. It's really the miniature trays. That's just what bothers me. Everything else is okay. This is, by the way, a mostly hand-done prototype, which I'm so excited about. One of my favorite things about doing unboxings and covering all these cool games from these cool companies that I get to do, besides just working with a passionate bunch of people, is the fact that all the prototypes are always so different. Some are extremely hand done, some are pretty much the final game, and then it's like super impressive, right? So it just kind of, the back of this is really cool. I'll show you in a second. I get everything. I've had a shoebox that I've opened once, right? I mean, like, it just, and I don't know, I love it. I really appreciate the effort they put into these prototypes. Often that's the biggest thing. Oh, it looks like it's actually probably supposed to be like this way. I probably had it upside down because right here is the rule book for the demo version. This is not everything, and again, you want to check out the campaign for the kind of the, okay, here's what we're actually getting here, right? This is, of course, like I said, it's a prototype, and even then, it's not the whole thing. The art, though, awesome. The font, though, awesome. The name, awesome. Super excited for this. So before we even open this, since the rulebook is separate, let's go ahead and take a look at that and see how it is. You guys know I'm very particular about a rulebook. That being said, obviously not final production copy either, so that is okay. So on the back, it looks like they do have the QR code for the web app link, because this does have a web-based app that does that. And oh my gosh, a prototype has an index, and yet there are people who are still making full games that don't bother to click the index button on their program to at least make 90% of what you need. The thing I like about the index, and why I open this like Stuffed Crust Pizza from the back first, is because it is alphabetized and it's not based off of headers like a table of content, and it tells you every page something is mentioned on. So if you have a question about attack dice, you actually need to read 10, 14, 15, 18, 19, and 31 to read everything there is about attack dice. And maybe your answer's on page 31 in like an example or something, or under like defense against ranged from an elevated position on a Tuesday, whereas the rest doesn't answer your question. That's why this is better than a glossary, and why an index is necessary for any kind of technical manual like a rulebook. So already fantastic. We're at what, 35 pages total, and we'll see how kind of spacious it is and stuff like that. Okay, so we got some miniature renders there, a little bit about the demo rulebook. Here's the table of contents. As you can see, kind of nice, but at the same time, that index, when you're actually playing the game and you look something up, is invaluable. Okay, then we have general components. One thing I like about this is it shows me an image, it shows me the amount, and it shows me what it is. I always actually read through these just really quickly, but I'll often kind of go back to it if I have a question, because when you're reading the rule book, sometimes it might mention a zone effect token, and you know what? I don't remember what zone effect tokens look like. Oh, they're talking about these. Now I know. And when I get the game, I know I should have 40 of them. So that can help, especially if there are multiple types of tokens or multiple types of cards. Often it's like, do I have all the equipment cards? I don't know, because they'll pack them in separate things and stuff like that. It's just nice to have. Showing that these are not included in the demo, very nice. It's actually convenient too. I appreciate that. All right, so then we start out with a game overview, game modes, heroes, and setup. That's all fine. It looks like we do have numbered little bits there, so that helps as well. We have a round sequence. These flow diagrams can be nice sometimes. It just kind of depends. Often I feel like these make things more confusing to some people. I'm fine with them, but I see UML diagrams and all sorts of stuff all the time, design schematics and whatnot. This is fine, but for some people, it's not always. For some people, they need this. So it's kind of hit or miss. As long as you don't overly rely on flows, I think that's okay. It can be a little intimidating though, right? When like if you've ever looked up the actual rules like Magic the Gathering with the stack and all that, it's way more complex than it actually even feels or typically is when you're just playing the game casually, right? So it just all depends. There is some symbols, but it looks like they are defining them as they kind of go through them, so that's kind of nice. There is some symbols within here too. Hopefully that's all right. And again, this is all prototype, so the lighting and color and all that I'm not sure about. I will say they have nice little headers. They have, they're using color quite well to signify different things, like examples, all of these kind of orange thing here. Well, yep, that's an example too. So that's kind of nice, so you know if you can skip on it, especially if you're just looking. Okay, well that's sure, why not? Okay. Anyway, yeah, looks like a pretty decent, well done rule book, as far as I can tell, of course. All right. Let's go in and open this up and see. A little bit of damage there. I'm kind of sad because otherwise this box just looks awesome. All right. Oh, that was awesome. All right. Now, one thing I'm kind of pumped about is Hell Legends looks like an ARPG fan's game. And I'm really excited about that because I love ARPGs. I get addicted to ARPGs, whether it's Path of Exile, whether it's Diablo, whether it's Torchlight, whether it's Titan Quest. I love them. I love them. I even like CRPGs because they're kind of like ARPGs. You can theorize your build in a class and stuff like that, and you're killing all these enemies, but then there's like special enemies that often buff the enemies around them, and they're harder, and then the bosses are even harder, and there's all sorts of loot, and I love everything about them. So I've always been on the lookout for a board game that's like that, and I'm hoping this this finally fits the bill because I haven't found one otherwise. So as you can see, very custom, like wood insert. This is actually really cool. This is an awesome prototype already. I love even the rope. They're like shoelaces. Very cool little kind of iron on here. It feels like there's dice in the bag. So let's go ahead and see. One of the nice things about draw bags like this is they instantly always shuffle, right? That's kind of the nice thing about it. Now, okay, here's a whole bunch of dice. And again, I don't know exactly how custom these are or anything like that. I'm sure they're not final and, you know, that sort of thing. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit just so you can see. Let's get some detail on there. I'm going to zoom in too much. That's probably good. Okay, coloration, fairly good. This kind of greenish yellow and orange, kind of close to me. I am a little colorblind. I can see it okay. It's all right. But you know, if they're separate or something like that, sometimes I'll find myself where I'll like separate the colors, right? And I'll end up something. Oh, see, and look, I just literally just did it. So I grabbed these two thinking they were the same, and they're not. It's when I'm not paying attention, right, that it happens. Obviously, again, prototype, they could always change all this stuff. A lot of times for colorblind, what they'll do is they'll put a special symbol on it. So all the starburst ones are this, and all the triangles are this, and all the circles are this. And that can work too. But there are also specific color ranges and hues and saturation levels and stuff that work for people of various you know, colorblind conditions. I tend to actually struggle a little bit with yellows, or is this yellow or green? I don't even know. And oranges. So maybe that's why. I don't know. This one's green. I can tell that. Anyway, it looks like there's some interesting things. It's like a hit or miss die, perhaps, though it does look about 50-50, and the X's are kind of all in a row there by the looks of it. There are several blanks on some of these, so it looks like these red ones are pretty hardcore. So yeah, different levels here. It looks like elements as well, so that's kind of fun. That's kind of neat. I dig that. All right. Either way, those look cool. Now let's see. We're gonna wait on the hero miniatures. So I love the like container of them, and the smell. You guys can smell it, but the smell of the wood and the laser cutter that works on these, very cool. All right, so it looks like there were some organization that kind of happened at one point that now you know, stuff kind of moved everywhere. So I don't know where everything is supposed to be necessarily, but it looks like some of the stuff. Oh, I think that's actually like a tray. Let me see if I can just put those back in. Go back in there. This one I don't know about. I don't know about these. So we'll look at some of these tokens. Let me get a little bit more out because I think I may be missing some. I'm not exactly sure. Looks like we have here some 3D printed contraption of some kind of token storage, perhaps. Wow, they put a lot of effort into this. That's actually really cool. Again, these prototypes are so fun for me because they're so different. It looks like there are stuff in there. A lot of times they're a little janky, but I think that gives it a certain kind of charm. And if you're a fan of the game, by the way, getting a hold of some of these prototypes are awesome. Every now and then I do that where I send them out to my like patrons and supporters and viewers and stuff like that, just because I really treasure this kind of stuff, and I know you guys do too. Because it's one thing to have the game, and it's another thing. Oh, look, Dragon Ball. That's what it kind of looks like there. Where's the 4-star? No. It elevates it to something even cooler. So this actually looks like a really cool tray that just got jostled around a little bit, right? But either way, all of these are. I would have said wood, but I don't think they are. I think they've been coated. This is cardboard. Like normal, you can tell because of the tags, right? But then I think it's been sealed. You can see how it's kind of shiny and some kind of varnish or something like that, which I mean is fine. It makes it a little shiny, which is kind of cool. A little dark, right? Like on this purple. And again, prototype, not final, right? But to me, that's just dark. But yeah, they got this cool little tray here, which is kind of neat. I'm not going to worry too much about these. Obviously, there's actually quite a few different tokens. Some of them have multiple sides to them. So how these are, in the game, I'm not sure. But it looks like it's fairly advanced. Probably a lot of different debuffs and buffs and stuff like that. That's what a lot of these are. It looks like some of them, though, like the potions, are items, which is kind of interesting when games do that. We also have these. Look at these here. These are cool. This is like a freaking saw blade. That's crazy. So that's fun. I don't know what that's about. Then we have some larger ones here. And again, I'm not sure what they are. Looks like obviously a little offset there, right, on the cut. Again, it happens all the time. This is a prototype after all. Yeah, I don't know if it was like an epoxy they put over this or what, but it made it almost like wood or plastic, which is kind of interesting. Either way, it looks like these are not the same on both sides, so that's probably significant in some sense. Again, maybe a little dark, but that's all right. That's your health and mana, probably. Now, these are kind of like the spikes, but not. And we also have some of these kind of squarish ones, too. Looks like they have several symbols on them. I'm not exactly sure why or how that works. That's kind of interesting. So there looks like there's some token mechanics at play here with some of these like multiple options and stuff like that. And then it looks like these are representing stuff like a chest, right? Oh, that had a potion on it. I don't know what all the options are. It looks like money or cards or all sorts of different stuff you can get. So that's kind of fun from your different chests. And then, again, what all this is, I'm not exactly sure. But either way, that's super cool. Again, I like the little tray system we got going on here. That's fun. And for now, I'm just going to move. Ooh, that was scary. Put it over here. And I'll work on cleaning that up later, of course. Uh-oh, a little straggler. There we go. Okay. All right, so we have more here. And again, I don't know. It looks like this is some kind of like lava token of some kind. Looks like quite a bit of that. So a whole bunch of that. Looks like here we have some kind of element, right? We have fire and ice, or hot and cold by the looks of it. We have some other things here, like being webbed or, having like maybe your powers locked or something like that. We have a few of these. I don't know what these are. They're just kind of separate here, but they're super cool. It looks almost like some kind of like character or something like that, like a boss or, maybe you don't know who it is. And then it looks like we also have a few standees of some kind. I know all the enemies are standees. Again, check the link in the description below to see what expansions and unlocks and stuff that they've done. But yeah, either way, those are like little girls with something scary, like a sword. All right, call to aid. Each monster moves 2 zones towards you. That's kind of interesting, and it looks like it takes 2 mana / blue essence / whatever you want to call it. But again, I don't know. I guess for now I'm going to put them in here. And it looks like here's probably the money, is what we have there. All right. Let's keep looking. So now, again, we got more of these kind of things. For now, I'm just going to stick them in there. We have... There's like more coming out. Okay. So, looks like here we have a boss board, which is this little pamphlet here for now. Again, it is a prototype where you're putting different things by the looks of it. Probably health and a shield maybe, or armor. Probably movement. And I don't know exactly what this is. Defense of some kind, perhaps, or something like that. But that's how you would track that. I'll put it over here by the rulebook. Okay. And then this looks cool. It looks like these are the classes, or at least the ones that I have here. Again, there's probably more. We have the Necromancer. If it can have pets, I'm sold. I do a pet build in every ARPG I've ever played. Often I play through the multiple times with multiple classes, but I always got a pet build. That's important. A Sorceress, a Barbarian, and a Ranger. Let's go and look at the Necromancer, because that's the one, obviously, that I am always naturally attracted to. It's always interesting. Some games allow you to actually play with doing nothing but walking around, having your pets kill everything, including bosses. And some, the pets want to survive one attack from the boss, and you end up having to just use them as something else. Often you can like explode them or something like that. But either way, they got the hero set up. We got starting equipment, so it looks like they have different equipment for each one, right? Here, there's a lantern. There's a bow. We have components, 1 Necromancer miniature, 5 creature standees, so you do get creatures, 1 bone prism token, and 1 bone wall standee. I wonder if there are skills that you can tier into, like, oh, I'm going to do blood, or I'm going to do bone, or I'm going to do the pet and have like animals, or I'm going to do the something else. There's a lot of options there. So we got what? Desecration, deflect, inflict fear, so we got some debuffs. That's often the case. Refresh, creature mastery, rise skeleton, rise golem. Probably want to change that to raise. Rise dead wolf, and then rise flaming toad. Heck yeah. So it looks like this is kind of the flow of the 4 different tracks. So here we go from, I don't know about creature mastery here, but we got refresh, revive, and then elemental resist. Then we got like inflict fear, bone wall, bone prison, cadaver explosion. So there you go, you can like blow them up and stuff, and weaken. Very cool. And then here it looks like we also have rise wyvern, teleport creatures, cripple, and torture. And then different levels of them as well. And these are these skills. I showed one of those off already. Then there are the costs of what it is, like suffering a wound or mana, or discarding a cadaver token, which makes sense. And then there are special rules on top of that. And then probably, as you can tell, the same thing for the Ranger, the Barbarian, and the Sorceress. Very cool. Love it. That already gets me excited. I love RPGs. I love the classics too. Maybe that's boring, but like a Necromancer and a Barbarian with spin to win, right? Like that kind of stuff is just stuff I like. I think it's a trope for a reason. It's because a lot of people just really enjoy it. These are kind of almost stuck together, probably because whatever they were coated in, then they were put together. They were probably still a little warm or sticky or something like that, but they separated right away. It looks to me like this is some sort of wall here, something like that. I know there are some 3D elements. So, oh man, that goes, okay, there we go. Kind of like that would be my assumption. And then again, I don't know if it probably is this way, right? But either way, and then I think there's going to be something that holds in here. So I'm going to go in and do 4, just in case that's what I need. But I suspect that's what that is for. I think it's going to hold a something on top too. So you get a little bit of 3D gaming here, right? Okay, let's see. You guys remember when 3D movies were like all the rage? What happened to that, huh? All right. Okay. All right. So now I got that. Again, I don't know if this is, one thing maybe I'm wrong here on setting it up this way. In fact, I almost feel like I am, because it's like dark here, like that's the bottom, and then dark here. And that also means that the highlighting is upside down too. So I don't think I did that right. But I don't know how else you do it. So for now, I'm just going to leave it. But that's probably wrong. Okay. All right. We got some more, again, some more kind of tokens here. We got some cards here. We got, I don't even know, like little gems and oh yeah, little wooden cubes and stuff. So we got some trays here as well. Let me go ahead and take this out though, and see. And then we got a mystery box down there. Quite a bit here actually. This is impressive. This is for a prototype demo like this. They put a lot of effort and work into it to wrap everything up and put everything together. And again, I actually kind of really appreciate these like by hand things. And it shows how nice you can actually kind of get it just with some effort. You know, there's no Chinese manufacturer involved, right? Just 3D print the minis and stuff like that. I've actually had a whole game delivered like that. Very indie, just made in the US and shipped easily, and it was nice. They didn't have any kind of crazy tariffs. They didn't have any kind of crazy shipping across the ocean and communication breakdown, and none of that was there. It was actually really, really cool. Okay, so here is kind of what I was talking about. Again, these are kind of sticky a little bit too, where I feel like this would go kind of like that, right? And so that is what you're seeing there. Again, I don't like the highlight upside down there, but I think that's the idea, which is still really cool. I dig that. Okay. That being said, how different are these? It looks like they are numbered, and they are double-sided in a very cool way. It looks like the other side is where a lot of the variety is. Wow. So that's fun. Looks like it probably goes kind of like this sort of thing, right? Very cool. Let me zoom out actually a little bit so you guys can see it a bit better. So there's like two of them put together like that. The angle looks cool. I like the perspective. I like the color and the glow. All that looks very moody. I can definitely see myself kind of coming visually into what this represents. And then a lot of different cave stuff, as you can see there. And I don't know if that... Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because if you do it wrong too much, the perspective is off, right? And we got some of that as well, and like a miasma kind of thing, and then a force kind of thing. And we got some smaller ones here that again have a lot of different variety on you know, in a building or anything like that, which is kind of cool. Okay, yeah, very cool. And then here as well. Oh, that's a cool one. All right, lots of cave and stuff like that. Very dreary. Definitely not the most colorful and happy place to be, by the looks of it. Okay, here's some kind of tracker as well, and this actually has a fun little fitting right there where they go together. And I guess they need to be two pieces, or maybe you can swap them out or something like that. Otherwise, maybe just make it one. I don't know, but. Either way, it looks like it all kind of explains itself once you've read it. I imagine this makes sense. See, this goes to the encounter. This loops back this way, right? So you kind of see how that works, and there's nothing on the back. So I appreciate that. Looks like we then have, oh, this is so fun, your health and mana or magic or whatever you want to call it there. These are your traits. Also, you have some items and potions and pouches and some kind of maybe XP or something. I don't know why it has the sight thing here. This is where you'd have your weapons and armor and stuff. And then these are probably skills, I imagine. And I bet you unlock them. That's kind of what that represents. But I should have, I think, oh wow, quite a few. What is this? One. Hello? Oh, wow, okay. Okay, no, that's double thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we got 4 of those. Very cool. And then this... if I don't break it, is the actual board itself. So let me find the necromancer. That's what I'm interested in. All right, is there... okay, nope. So it is double-sided. And I don't know, see why it has... oh, what is this? So I don't know like what doing that does, but you could do that, I guess. There are 2 different ones, because this is Desecration 1, Desecration 2, Desecration 3, and then Desecration 4. So there's 4 levels to these. A, B, C, D. Again, I don't know exactly probably how much it costs to unlock XP-wise or skill point-wise. Not sure what this tracks here. Let's see. So for the double-sidedness of this, Actually, I'm kind of impressed. It looks like it's lined up really, really well. Like really impressed. All the lines look like it's lined up. I think maybe because it was done by hand, but even these, right? This looks all center. That's better than what you get from China. Like no joke. This is actually really good. So yeah, that's what all these are. And again, I think this is maybe just to be able to put in like that. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's there though. Yeah, super cool. Super cool. I dig it. I dig it. And then again, there's more tracking here that you would do. So each person obviously would have their class board as well. All right. Now, I'm not going to bother trying to put all that together like all perfectly here. So what I'm going to do is just take this and then just scoot it over here. Okay. Okay. So now we have the mystery box. We have some of these. Let's go and do some of these because it looks like there are some really exciting cards here that I'll look at. Plus a very big offset, weirdly made cube. That being said, I like it. It's kind of blue tinted. It looks cool. And it's bigger than normal, so I appreciate that. And we have, again, these like went everywhere, which is unfortunate. Looks like we got a couple of these white cubes as well. For now, I'm just going to set these over here. I'll find a good spot for them. I think this is just padding, right? This is just there so things don't like crush into each other. So I'm actually going to leave that in there as well. And we'll start with the first pack here. Looks like this is items. I'm excited to see these. I'll zoom into them. Don't worry about it. What are your guys' thoughts so far on the build of this prototype? I like the hand, made portion of it, and there's something really cool. I don't know if you've been to, sometimes you get this at like GameFound, or not GameFound, like Gen Con and Eschenspiel and stuff like that, where when you're at a convention you can play these prototypes of the games. Otherwise, unless you have a YouTube channel or something like that, you often don't get this. But playing a more handmade board game is actually really cool. It's not like they're like this has a certain smell to it, right? So it's definitely unique in that sense, and the quality isn't always quite as nice. So hey, a wooden storage actually pretty cool. And it's just cool. Something about board games and making them by hand, I think it's kind of like dealing with a really good proxy or custom art on cards, right? Stuff like that. I don't know. It's just cool. Okay, so I don't know if there are any repeats or not. And obviously, again, I'm not worried too much about the thickness and all that. What I will say is this seems to be actually really good cardstock. I would be fine if this was the final version. The color is really deep. I really like that. The highlight light around the item, I think works pretty well there. The text is quite small, like end of round is quite small there. I can read it fine, but I'm also not like in my 80s, right? And so there are people that are gaming of all ages and all environments when it comes to how dimly lit and stuff it is. And seeing like gear and footwear so tiny on there that, you might have to really pick it up and really start looking at it to see what it is, right? The item itself, very cool. I like the little plants on it. I think that's kind of unique. And again, I don't know what the symbol is here, though. So this gives you +2 movement or end of round move 2, so you can move 2 with this. There is an ID on these as well, which is kind of nice. So I dig that. Looks like we're just going to be looking at a lot of boots. And again, just different kinds. Okay. Now we have a short sword of stealing. We have a mana staff. That's important. On crit, 50% chance to recover 2 mana. Which seems like it wouldn't happen very often, but it looks like you may do 2 already anyway. And I think it's showing you the color of the dice that you're going to be rolling as well. And then I don't know what this little plus symbol is here or anything like that. Maybe that's like a 2-hit and how much XP you get using it. I'm not sure. Or how much XP you need to be able to use it. Staff of Experience. That's the XP icon there. Again, really small text. And it doesn't like they're wasting a lot of space, at least on these. Maybe they fill up on other ones. Staff of Sealing, you got a pushy bow, a bow of security, almost said serenity. 2-handed axe, pushing goo axe. That's kind of interesting. And it looks like on the back there's a couple symbols and stuff as well. Fast light roamer. This is these lanterns. Roaming lantern, light roamer, shield of retaliation, cuddly shield. So there's some goofiness here too. Shield of reinventing. Lonely heavy shield, plate of experience, blood-seeking armor. Now, and I don't know if like all the experience things together make a gear set or not. That'd be kind of cool. Again, lonely as well. Red plate, skillful waistband. The more belts you get, the better, of course. Protective ring, ring of teal, thorn ring, mighty ring, sword of stealing, ring of regeneration. There's a ton here. Here's some caps, or helmets. There's some more. There's a winged boot, experience boots. More swords and staffs and axes and lanterns. And look at that, fire cuirass. Those are cool. Buckle of strength, buckle of regen. Those are the exact same. So again, maybe they have not finished with all the art. Maybe there will be some repeat. I'm not sure. I'm not saying a bunch of repeat if that's the case, but yeah, definitely a whole lot here. And again, I don't know about the rarity and all that, but I'm assuming that kind of ran the gamut of some of it. Now it looks like there is more here. I'm not going to go ahead and open those quite yet. It'll be just probably more of the same. But this looks like it is a little bit different. So let's see what this is. Looks like a class card of some kind. All right. These always break down right when it gets to 2. Like it never goes the whole way for me, almost ever. Or maybe I'm just not good at unboxing. That's possible too. Okay, that's fine. We'll get through this together. We got this. Okay, all right, get off me. Okay. All right. So looks like we have the 4 here. So here's a barbarian, and again, nothing on the back. I don't know if this is like an activation thing or something like that. It looks like there's a special move of some kind that you can do. The ranger, the sorceress, and the necromancer. You can destroy all creatures to prevent death. That's kind of cool. And then I don't know if this is difficulty or what. I'm not quite sure on that. Now here, looks like we have some kind of encounter. So if you recall, in that thing that like looped around, you could get to an encounter, and it looks like they have a different things you do on each one. This looks very easy to read. I'm sure the colors mean something. The skinny red here on the black, maybe a little hard to read. Okay, then we got a whole bunch of these, and then a couple more. I bet these are your starting weapons and stuff. I bet that's what all of these are. And then some more upgrades there. Okay, and then here we have Tainted Blood. Okay. Dice Grotesque, Bloody Ambition, Heavy Concussion, Collapsed Lungs. These are like injuries, lack of focus, missing eye, freezing, stuff like that. Okay, interesting. Very cool. All right. I think it's in the order it was, even 2. Okay. There's one tray. We're going to move this over here. I'll take a look at this one. And then that box, or at least the cardboard there. I don't know what it's separating. We'll see. Okay. So we got some more stuff here. We have some wooden tokens. You guys have seen wood cubes. If you haven't, welcome to gaming, I guess. So we got some tiny dice. This is fun. These are itty bitty. These are great for like Warhammer and stuff because they don't take up a lot of room. I have a buddy that plays Imperial Guard, and he's always rolling like 800 dice. And so little dice like this actually kind of useful. This does look like it has some kind of symbol on it. But then, yeah, I like how the numbers make it into a diamond versus a square. That's kind of fun. Oh, I'm gonna like lose these. These are crazy. Okay. All right. While I was doing this, I saw my wife's in the room here, and she's looking over trying to find the small dice. She's probably gonna steal them. All right. Those are cool. I like those. Okay. Now it looks like we have a whole bunch more here, and I don't know where these abilities come from. But that's what that looks like here, right? The same as in your ability tray, except they have a back that's different too. So I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a team-based ones or something like that. These look like they're for the smaller ones that we had. So that's, I think, what that is. And then got quite a few of those. Just because each tile would be 4, and you might have all 4 of them. We have some big cards here, though, too. Look at this. This looks like, oh, player aids and then like bad guys. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. That looks fun. Okay. Try not to cut myself. Though I imagine getting this all bloody kind of just fits with the theme, but I'm not that committed. Okay. I'm gonna have to zoom out a little bit. These are like big tarot size cards. I think that's the size. I don't know, you can tell me. Okay, so we got 2, the front and back. Some of them, you know, kind of, this is how much I guess potions cost. 1, 2, 3, and 5, right? Depending on what you're getting. Again, very hard to tell the difference between these two besides a little bit of the shape by the looks of it. It probably heals both. I don't know what the green does either. That's kind of interesting. Level up and how much things cost and stuff like that. Okay, then it looks like here we have like game related round structure and then monster activation and hero death and what happens then and stuff. So again, you got the same flow there too. Okay, now we got some really cool enemies here. There is a front and back. I don't know what the difference is necessarily, but as you can see, you have some undead runners. You have burning corpse. You have the lost shaman. You have the lost child. He's kind of creepy. The giant spider mother. You have spider. It looks like there's a champion version of him as well. The frost maiden and the hellhound. At least in this demo, that's what you get. Looking at it, it looks like, again, a little bit small text. This says after movement, but I can kind of barely tell that. And that's with all this lighting and looking at it this close. Down on there, I probably wouldn't be able to tell. So ideally, we can get that a little bit bigger there. Looks like there's basic, special, and skill based on what they do here. It looks like the loot you get 4 XP, you get 1 card, and 3 money or whatever. It looks like maybe they give you 1 of these each, or they have that. I don't know exactly what these symbols are. It's probably health, armor, and again, I don't quite know what that is either. Maybe critical effect or something. Well, it looks like to me like they move 5 there. So that's the symbols that I'm getting anyway. There is stuff like this, tough, flying. So they do have little keywords there, block, which is kind of interesting. It looks like they might only have 1 keyword each. Which is fine. As you know, so I played enough Path of Exile to know that it gets kind of crazy if you allow the special champions to have many keywords that can be combined, because you have these like killer versions, right? Like, you know, reflect physical or something like that in Path of Exile. You're just gonna die, right? That's all there is. Or you have to change what damage you're doing because of that, stuff like that, which is cool. I actually like that, but I understand maybe that's a little too much. What is this? Oh, another little standee here, and I bet that's what this is. Yep, okay. So here it looks like we got a whole bunch of the standees. They are different shapes, which should help identify them a little bit, though it's easy to see what they are there too. We got some really cool, look at that. That is freaking sweet. So it looks like we got a whole lot more enemies than what I just saw. We got the standee holders here. What is this? Hello? Hello? Looks like barricades of some kind. What else we got? What else we got here? Looks like a pile of skulls or something like that, I guess. Again, a whole lot of these kind of standees. And then we have some spinners. Then we have, what are these? A tree, I guess? And then we have some little map tiles and stuff like that as well here. Okay, so for these spinners, obviously there's 4 of them. I'll just take 1. Looks like they just... I'll show that. Now, they're probably a little bit too open, right? And that they show a little bit of the other number 2, but I think it's just whatever's in the center. And it looks like there are 25 on each one that you can have. It looks like there's XP, and I don't know what this is yet. But, all right. You know, all that's left now are the minis. So let's take a look. All right, I love the little lid here. That's fun. Hopefully these 3D prints survived pretty okay, but we will find out. Looks like maybe came off the base is all. That's easily dealt with. Let's go ahead and show how it be. Okay, so again, 3D print, obviously, not final miniature of any kind, but still super cool, right? I love the custom base. I love the custom size of it. I I really appreciate that. I think we're obsessed with round bases, and I don't think that's exactly necessary at all, except that it's really cheap to do a round base. But honestly, this is fine too. The thing is, like, this is a part of a mold, right? So it's another piece, or two, depending on how it's designed and stuff like that, right? Or three, or it could be even more. But anyway, he sends on like that. I like the dynamic view that is. I think that's really cool. And actually, I want to say, okay, no, that just broke off. I see. Okay, all right. We do have a few supports. I'm like really obsessed with getting rid of supports, so I look at them all the time and get them off and stuff like that. Not everybody is. So it looks like they cleaned it up fairly well here. At least for this version of the Mini, it looks fantastic. I love all the rips and like every cloth is like scuffed and torn and stuff like that. Nothing's like clean here. Muscle definition is cool. I love the beard. I love the thing that he has over his shoulders and chest and back that's separate from his hair. The hair here is cool. I like the little top, like ponytail kind of looking thing there. The weapon obviously looks great. It's supported really well, so there's not any spot that's too far bad. He's holding it really up high, close, so that's not the skinny breaking point too. Overall, very well designed. I think he looks pretty cool. I like him. Okay, so that's one. And again, the sculpted base, awesome. All right, let's see how... Aha! Okay, so she is not broken at all, which is fantastic. Okay, so she is hovering, and I really appreciate that. I think that looks awesome that she's hovering. Again, very custom size and shape of the base, which is very cool. Textured, or with the ripples of the cloak underneath. I appreciate that too. The little swirl and magic and stuff like that looks awesome. Again, these are going to like really skinny points that an injection mold process would like really struggle with. So it'll be a little bit thicker there, but that's okay. It's like spiky right now anyway. Really skinny arms, so that'll be something to be cautious about. They'll probably want to thicken that up. That is pretty skinny. The hair is cool. I love how that's being lifted as well. I think that's neat. And her arms out like that show some like lift too. And then her staff is connected at the bottom, which I appreciate, and then not connected at all to the magic, but they could probably make that a connection point for more security if needed. So yeah, probably the big difference here obviously is the fingers, and really the arms in general are pretty darn skitty. For an injection mold process, it'd be really hard to push the plastic in such a small chamber and then have it like really set and do well there. And again, it maybe would break too. But yeah, very cool. I love it. I love that this is kind of in the back, and I love that it physically affects her dress here. I think that's really, really cool to see it kind of fold up from that. Yeah, I don't know. That's awesome. Just anytime the design of the person interacts with the basing, I really appreciate that. Okay, so obviously very, very skinny arrow that'll be thickened up. We're not bothering on any like bowstring or anything like that. I think that's smart. Again, the base very custom sized, right, which I really appreciate. The wooden log that he's on is cool too. One thing to be cautious about a little bit is when you get sculpted bases, and this happens with Warhammer or anything else too, obvious. It makes sense in some tiles, and in some tiles it makes less sense, right? So if you're on Magma, that just looks kind of silly to have like a log here, right? That's what I mean by that. Again, love the little nicks and jaggedness of everything here. His hood looks super cool. Facial features look nice and crisp. A little bit of supports there. The quill looks very cool. Looks he's got a little kind of knife blade thing here. These are supports. Don't worry about that. That obviously wouldn't be in the final one. Yeah, no, it looks cool. I dig that. And so then we finally have the Necromancer. The best for last, of course. Wow, very cool. I wasn't kidding. Wow, okay. So went kind of overboard here. The base, again, very, very cool. It's like a little bit of soft detail here, but that could also just be from the print, of course, too. Either way, you have all these like souls or bodies or whatever coming out, which I think is super neat to see. I love that in the swirl. The swirl itself looks really cool. I love that there are no legs here. She has no legs. She's just like floating here. And these wisps, as she's kind of like fluttering by, look cool. The grimoire kind of book is a classic thing. The potion bottles look awesome. The lantern looks really cool. Again, very, very skinny. That'll have to be thickened up, of course. Same with the arm and some of this other stuff here. It looks like she has a mask on of some kind, or she's just like ghastly. Either way, very, very cool. The hood looks neat. Again, I love the ripped cloth so you can see her arm within there. I think that's awesome. Very, very cool. So yeah, of the minis that they have, not too many, but these hero minis are extremely cool. I could see people wanting to use this for like their D&D characters and stuff like that, because this is just like classic stuff here. Yeah, very, very cool. I like them a lot. I think they look awesome. The basing in particular looks cool. Guys, this is Hell Legends. Check out the link in the description below. They are doing their campaign right now. I want to make sure that you can get this in time. So feel free, again, follow up with that. See where they're at. See if you want to support them. Any kind of like indie creator that's putting a lot of effort into something like this, you can tell this is a labor of love. I think the note said they've been doing this since 2018 off and on. So that's super cool to see. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye, guys.